Western metaphysics is Western view of reality. In pre-Socratic period, that means before Socrates, pre-Socratic period, a group of philosophers was keen to understanding the nature of the ultimate reality. Before Socrates came into existence, there was a group of philosophers that wanted to study ultimate reality. Okay? The monists, among these were the monists Thales, Anaximander, Anaximenes, Anaxagoras, Parmenides, and Heraclitus. Okay? Amongst these monists, in monists comes Thales, Anaximander, Anaximenes, Anaxagoras, Parmenides, Heraclitus. Okay? All of these are monists. That means they believe in one reality. However, they had different views. Even though they were monists, they all had different views about the ultimate reality. 2500 years ago, these philosophers observed the universe and contemplated over the origin of the universe, and thoughts were studied as the fruits of their reflections. 2500 years ago, all these philosophers observed the nature. They saw how the trees came into existence, they saw how the plants were growing, and how evolution, how butterfly evolves from caterpillar. They saw all this and they started to study it. They were curious about the nature, and they desired to study more about the nature. Okay? We studied about permanence and impermanence. Permanence is anything that is permanent, and impermanence is temporary things. Okay? So Parmenides was the one who regarded permanence as the distinguished characteristic of reality. Parmenides said that reality is permanent. Okay, it will exist forever. That's what Parmenides thinks about reality. Okay, means it will exist forever according to Parmenides. Parmenides maintains that motion, change, time, and distinctions are not real. Motion, change, time, and distinctions are not real. I'll explain this. He believed that anything in relation to which we can use the terms that is not, was not, or will not be, do not really exist. पैरामेंडिस के हिसाब से जो भी चीज़ों में हम लोग इज़ नॉट रियल, इज़ नॉट टुडे, इट्स नॉट टुमारो, ऐसे सब चीज़ें यूज़ करते हैं ना, मतलब वो चीज़ें रियल नहीं है, रियलिटी में एग्जिस्ट नहीं करते. तो ये सब वर्ड्स हम लोग कौन सी चीज़ों में अप्लाई करते हैं? मोशन, यानी कि जो भी एक्शन हम लोग करते हैं, मोशन. चेंज, टुमारो विल बी संडे, टुडे इज़ सैटरडे, सो सैटरडे चेंजेस टू संडे, वो चेंज में वो चेंज. टाइम, टुडे इट्स 1 PM, टुमारो एट दिस टाइम, ऐसे बोलते हैं ना हम लोग. सो टाइम एंड डिस्टिंक्शंस आर नॉट रियल. ये सब चीज़ें मोशन, चेंज, टाइम और डिस्टिंक्शन रियल नहीं है पैरामेंडिस के हिसाब से. ओके. When change occurs, that is which does not exist comes into existence, and that which exists disappears. According to Parmenides, if there is a glass of water, it was empty first, right? Then when we pour water in that, it becomes a full glass. So that empty space which existed before does not exist anymore. Okay. So when there is a change in our environment, what existed before does not exist anymore. Our childhood, ठीक है? In our childhood we learn to crawl, now we learn to walk. This is a change. So when this change occurs, what existed before does not exist anymore. So all these changes also are not real. Since change is related to non-being, it does not have any real existence. The idea of time is associated with change. idea, the time and change occurs simultaneously, right? When time passes, we change. When a year passes, we grow up, like that. So time and change are associated with each other, so they are both not real. In a world where there is no change, there is no time either. So if the world does not change, the time also won't change, and time will also cease to exist. Okay? If there is motion, the objects can change their position. If we move an object from one place to another, also we ourselves move from one place to another. When we move a phone from the bedroom to the hall, we go with the phone, right? The phone is not walking on its own. So when we move objects from one place to another, we also move. Okay, so logically speaking, we require an empty space. If there are lots of walls between your room and your living room, how are you supposed to go to the living room, right? So if there is no empty space, you can't move anything. Okay, if the table is full of food and you want to keep a huge brick over there or a huge stone over there, how are you supposed to keep if the table is not empty, right? So to keep an object somewhere, you need an empty space. But empty space means a place that there is nothing. Empty space means any place that nothing exists over there. That is empty space, right? Empty cupboard means you can put clothes in the cupboard, means there is nothing in the cupboard, empty cupboard. Okay. Empty or vacant spaces cannot exist. Empty or vacant space cannot exist. Differences are not real as well. The difference between two objects are not real as well. Differences between two objects are not real. If we try from each other, differences are not real. Why are differences not real? Because there is a difference between two objects. It is implied that there is no similarity between them. If we say that a book of 11th standard philosophy book is different from the 12th standard philosophy book, because there are certain things that are not explained in that, means if there is no difference, there is no similarity either. Okay, so if we don't say that, if we say an orange is different from an apple, means there is no similarity between them, it is completely different. Okay, so we distinguish pen and pencil. Okay, pen and pencil. What is there in a pencil is not there in a pen, and what is there in a pen is not there in a pencil. Pencil works using graphite, right? Graphite, lead. That's how we get pencil. And in pen we use ink. So that is the difference in pen and a pencil. The ink that is there in the pen is not there in the pencil, and the lead that is there in the pen is not there in the the lead that is there in the pencil is not there in the pen. So one thing that exists in one object is not there in another object. That is what makes them different. So the pencil is not a pen and pen is not a pencil. Okay, so the difference between two objects is not real. Difference is not real. Okay, Parmenides holds that which is real and it is ultimate substance is the only one and it is complete. Parmenides says that which is real and is the ultimate substance is one that is complete. Reality means something, a substance that is real and it is complete. There is no empty space in that reality. In ultimate reality, there is no empty space. So according to him, there is no emptiness or nothingness in reality. It is permanent and eternal, means reality will exist forever. First thing is reality has no empty space. Second is reality will exist forever. The ultimate reality is neither created nor destroyed. We can't create the ultimate reality, we can't destroy the ultimate reality. It has no beginning and no end. Ultimate reality has no beginning and no end. According to Parmenides, these are the 4 characteristics of ultimate reality. Okay, there is no empty space or emptiness in the ultimate reality. It is permanent and eternal. It is neither created nor destroyed. It has no beginning and no end. Okay, these are the characteristics of ultimate reality according to Parmenides. Next is Heraclitus. Heraclitus has opposite view of Parmenides. Whatever Parmenides said, no, Heraclitus has an opposite view about it. Okay. According to Heraclitus, change is the essential characteristic of reality. According to Parmenides, change is not real, right? But according to Heraclitus, change is the essential, means important characteristic of reality. Change is very important for ultimate reality. Okay. Reality is constantly changing. According to Parmenides, reality was permanent, right? There is no change. But according to Heraclitus, reality is constantly changing, means it is undergoing change every time, every single day. Okay. Impermanence is the nature of the universe, means the characteristic of the ultimate reality or the universe is impermanence. Yani means everything is temporary in nature, in the universe. Okay. This process is best symbolized by fire. A fire, if you lit a candle, okay, the flame looks same to us, but the flame is actually changing, right? The process is symbolized by fire. The flames of a fire are constantly blazing, constantly lit. While constantly consuming fuel, it keeps producing smoke and ash. It is due to this nature of fire that Heraclitus considered fire to be the primordial stuff, means it is the most important stuff. Fire, same like how permanence is the impermanence, like temporary things are the characteristic of ultimate reality. Similarly, fire is also changing continuously, but we just can't observe the change. Okay. He's saying there is no one steps into the same river twice. Heraclitus has a saying like no one steps into the same river twice. The water in a river is continuously changing, right? So if you enter into a river today, can you say you are entering into the same river tomorrow? Because the water has changed, right? Water is the characteristic of the river. So if the water keeps changing, can you say that you are entering into the same river? The water is different, river is same. According to Heraclitus, there is continuity in the universe. There is no permanence. Means the universe continues to survive, but the universe is not permanent. It is just continuing. Like today we have the nature around us today, tomorrow there will be only slight changes, but it doesn't mean it will be exist forever. The universe won't exist forever. Okay. Means the universe, there is continuity, the universe is going continuously, but it is not permanent. Okay. The characteristic of reality are impermanence. According to Heraclitus, characteristic of reality is impermanence, means temporary. Reality is temporary, and stability emerging from conflict. Okay. So according to Heraclitus, reality, ultimate reality is impermanent, means it is not permanent, and it emerges from and stability emerges from conflict. How is the ultimate reality stable? How is ultimate reality balanced? Because there is conflict between two objects. Okay. When the tension increases, this thing breaks up. So according to Heraclitus, this nature, universe is like a rubber band. It's like a rubber band. Okay. when you pull the rubber band and when you leave it, it's like that. The ultimate reality is like that. You pull a rubber band and you leave it, it comes back to its place, right? So there is balance in the ultimate reality because there is balance in the universe because the universe is constantly pushing and pulling. It tears itself apart and then it comes together again. Okay, it's just like a rubber band. When you decrease the tension, when you release the tension, the rubber band comes back to its original place. Okay. Although Heraclitus, just like Parmenides, is a monist, both Heraclitus and Parmenides are monist. Means they believe in one reality, but their views regarding the nature are completely opposite. The views of Parmenides and the views of Heraclitus about the ultimate reality is completely different, even though they are both monist. Okay, Parmenides and Heraclitus both are monist. Okay, remember. In pre-Socratic period, the pluralism of Empedocles and Democritus is significant. Pre-Socrates means the period before Socrates. There were two pluralists, Empedocles and Democritus. Empedocles said that they believed in elements like earth, water, fire and air. Empedocles said that these are the four basic elements: earth, water, fire and air. It is due to the forces of attraction and repulsion that the elements integrate and disintegrate. Okay. According to Empedocles, the elements water, earth, fire and air, since these forces, these 5 basic elements come together and they separate themselves from each other. They first come together, then separate from each other, then again they come together. Because of this constant this attraction and repulsion, the elements integrate and disintegrate. Means integration and disintegration is like coordination. These 4 elements, they coordinate with each other. If we put water on fire, the fire disappears and the water remains. So when they come to contact, water and fire come to contact with each other, there is change, right? Only one of those will exist, right? So they coordinate with each other for their existence. Okay. Next is Democritus. Democritus and his master Leucippus. Democritus had a master, means he had a teacher. Okay, his name was Leucippus. Democritus and Leucippus both were materialists. Materialists are they believe in this material world, which the world that we see. They believe in that. They realized that the process of dividing objects would lead to atoms. We have studied about atoms, right? Vaisheshika Darshana also mentioned atoms. So the Democritus realized that the process of dividing material, when we divide an object, when we cut through a glass, when we cut glass or when we break the glass, okay, there will come a point where we cannot break that glass any further. Okay, that means we have reached to the last atomic level of that object. Okay, means there will एक ग्लास हम लोग ले रहे, ठीक है, उसको हम लोग नीचे डाल के तोड़ रहे हैं. ओके, तो तोड़ने के बाद हम लोग का एक ऐसे लेवल में आ जाएगा और उसको बार बार तोड़े जा रहे, फिर एक ऐसा पॉइंट आएगा कि ग्लास को हम लोग दोबारा और तोड़ नहीं सकते. ठीक है, यानी कि हम लोग उसका एटम तक पहुंच गया है, आप भी उसको आगे तोड़ नहीं सकते हम लोग. ओके, तो ये जो लास्ट पार्टिकल है ना, ये जो तोड़ के हम लोग को जो लास्ट ये मिलता है ना, वो उसको एटम बोलते हैं. उस एटम को हम लोग डिवाइड नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि हम लोग लास्ट लिमिट तक में हम लोग ने उसको तोड़ चुका, अभी और आगे उसको तोड़ नहीं सकते. ओके, So according to Democritus, atom is indivisible, means it cannot divide the atoms of particles of an atom any further. There is infinite number of atoms in the universe, means there are a lot of atoms in the universe. Atoms, these are the characteristics of atoms. Okay, atoms are basically dynamic in nature. Dynamic in the sense, atoms are dynamic means atoms keep changing. Okay, the nature of an atom keeps changing according to the environment. The atom changes. Okay, means it is dynamic, means it constantly changes. They are constantly moving into the void of the universe. Wherever there is empty space, atoms are moving towards it. Okay, so there is no, in short, there will be no empty space. It is all filled with atoms. Third characteristic, they differ in shape and size. One atom differs from the other. There is difference between two atoms. In their shape and size, they differ. There is no qualitative difference between them. Even though they change in shape and size, quality wise they don't change. Means the basic characteristic of all atoms are the same. The quality of an atom does not change. Only the quantity changes. Okay, but according to Vaisheshika, both the quality and the quantity of atoms changes. According to Democritus, only the quantity changes. Okay, there is no difference in quality of an atom. Okay, but because of the constant motion and different shapes, they become interconnected and give rise to various objects. When atoms come together, they form an object. If there is a book, the atoms of a paper come together to form the book. Okay, it's like that. The pages come together, then it forms the book, right? Similarly, atoms come together to form any object. Means all objects have atoms in them. The shape may change because there is constant change in the shapes. One atom differs from the other, right? That's why when they come together, an object is formed, because their shape and size are different. From one atom to another, the shape and size are different. These objects, however, have different properties. Although these atoms come together and form all objects, one object is different from another. Okay? When atoms are separated from each other by mechanical action or reaction, the objects get destroyed. When we separate the atom, means a glass is formed by joining atoms together. A glass is formed, a pot is formed. Okay, but then later on, if we break the pot, means we are separating the atoms from each other, right? So only if we try to separate atoms from each other, an object gets destroyed. How will the world get destroyed? If we separate atoms from each other in the world gets destroyed. Like, for example, earthquake. During an earthquake, the land is separated from each other, like it shakes, right? Means it is getting separated, it is getting cracked. That's why we experience the tension and things starts to break, because the atoms are being separated from each other. That's why there is destruction. Okay. Democritus believed that these happenings in the world are not intentional. There is no purpose whatsoever behind it. According to Democritus is not a divine person. He doesn't believe in Brahma and all. So according to him, everything is atomic. If you disturb the atom destroys everything. It's like that. So it is not divine. All these natural calamities are not divine. It's just because the atoms are being separated from each other. Okay. There is no intention behind creating human beings. There is no intention behind creating trees or plants or whatsoever. There is no purpose of creating this world. There is no purpose, means there is no purposer, means there is no creator, according to Democritus. Now we'll study two more Western metaphysicians. Okay. Plato. In pre-Socratic Western philosophy, we come across two main streams in reference to the nature of reality. There are two in Western philosophy there are two explanation about ultimate reality. One says that it is not one says it is unchanging, means it never changes and it cannot be destroyed, and it is eternal. One view of ultimate reality is that it never changes, it cannot be destroyed, and it is eternal, means it will live for ultimate reality is forever. And the second view is it is impermanent, means it is temporary, ultimate reality is temporary and it always changes. Okay, these are the two streams, like the streams of arts and science. Now these are the two streams of ultimate reality. Okay, Socrates disciple, Plato is a disciple of Socrates. Okay, Socrates disciple Plato tried to reconcile both these views in his theory of two worlds. Plato believes in both these views. He believes that ultimate reality changes, he believes that it doesn't change. He believes that it can be destroyed, he also believes it cannot be destroyed. It believes that it is eternal and it is believed that it is temporary. So according to Plato stands in both boat, दोनों बोट में पैर रख के खड़ा है वो दोनों. He believes in both the theories of ultimate reality. Okay, both these opposite characters he believes. And Plato has mentioned this. प्लेटो ने अपने बुक टू वर्ल्ड्स की थियोरी, यानी कि दो दुनिया के बारे में एक थियोरी था प्लेटो का, उस थियोरी में उसने ये दोनों चीज़ों को मेंशन किया है, दोनों व्यू को बैलेंस किया है. ओके, दिस वर्ल्ड मस्ट बी कंसिडर, वी ऑलवेज एक्सपीरियंस द वर्ल्ड अराउंड अस इज कॉन्स्टेंटली चेंजिंग. हाउ कैन वी डिनाई दैट? द वर्ल्ड अराउंड अस इज कॉन्स्टेंटली चेंजिंग, राइट? देयर इज ऑलवेज कॉन्स्टेंट चेंज इन आवर वर्ल्ड. Every day, today becomes yesterday, tomorrow, right? So there is constant change in our environment and we see it, right? We see the constant change in the environment, so we can't say that the world is not real, because we see it changing, so it must be real. Existence of the visible world depends on what he calls the world of forms. The real world exists, according to him, he calls this the world of forms, because of the world of forms. This world of forms consists of essence or universals that are shared by innumerable particle objects. प्लेटो के हिसाब से ये जो वर्ल्ड है ना वो फॉर्म है, एक फॉर्म के वजह से वो एग्जिस्ट करता है. फॉर्म यानी कि एक ह्यूमन में जो एसेंस है ह्यूमैनिटी, ट्री में जो एसेंस है ट्रीनेस. ओके, ये एसेंस के वजह से ये दुनिया एग्जिस्ट करता है. द वर्ल्ड ऑफ फॉर्म्स कंसिस्ट ऑफ एसेंस ऑफ यूनिवर्सल्स दैट आर शेयर्ड बाय इन्यूमरेबल पार्टिकल्स. फर्स्ट, एसेंस आर बियॉन्ड स्पेस एंड टाइम. द ह्यूमैनिटी, द ट्रीनेस, काउनेस, हॉर्सनेस, ऑल दीज एसेंसेस यानी कि क्वालिटी या एसेंस. Essence are beyond space and time, means it is above space and time. All these essence don't have a space or a time. Okay, they are neither created nor destroyed. These essence of treeness, humanity, these things are not created, so if something is not created, it cannot be destroyed. Exist forever. These essence, this essence in human beings, they exist, human beings or the nature, they exist forever and they do not undergo change, means the essence doesn't change. Although the object changes, the essence does not change. All the common nouns used in our language denote these essences that are known through reason but not experienced by the sense. The concept of humanity, the concept of treeness or likeness, all these common nouns that we use, they are we can know this by logic. If we reason it, all humans have the same characteristic, humanity. Why do we call all the objects and all the plants as like anything that is green and has a trunk, we call it as trees? Why do we call it like that? Because logically speaking, we cannot experience essence. We cannot see essence, but we know that essence exists. If you think logically, we know that essence exists. Okay. The world of essence is real and exists in actuality. The world of humanity, the world of treeness, the world of cowness. So these exist. These are real. These essences, even though we don't see it, these exist. It is real. Okay. Whereas everyday world that we experience is just a copy or imitation, shadow or reflection of the world. The world that we are seeing, like world that we the essence, like the humanity, treeness, all those are real. But the class I am taking now, okay, then the Raksha Bandhan that people are celebrating now, all these are just a reflection of another world. Means a world like this exists, a world similar to us exists, and this world is just a reflection of it. In the sense, so according to Plato, this world is just a reflection or a shadow or copy, imitation. In this sense, shadow and reflections are also real. If this world is real, then if the other world is real, then this world should, the reflection or the shadow means this world should also be real, right? If there is a concept of two worlds, if that world is real, then the reflection should also be real. When we look in the mirror, we see ourselves, right? When we see ourselves, the reflection in the mirror, is it real? If that the reflection in the mirror is real, means we are also real. Okay, that's what Plato is trying to say. Whether it is shadow or reflection, its existence depends upon the existence of the object of which it is a shadow or reflection. Means the reflection, if we reflect ourselves in the mirror, to see our reflection in the mirror, we have to exist, right? So the existence of the shadow or reflection depends upon the existence of the object. Okay. Plato asserts that existence of this world depends on the world of forms. So existence of this reflective world or shadow world, it depends upon the essence of the world. Essence. Okay. The character essence of the world, of the forms. Next is Aristotle. Plato's disciple Aristotle. Plato was a disciple of Socrates. Now Aristotle is a disciple of Plato. Okay. Plato's disciple Aristotle rejected this notion of independent world of forms. Aristotle rejected the notion of independent world of forms. Okay. Aristotle rejected that there is a separate world that exists apart from this world, which is a world of forms, which is a world of essence. He thinks that the world we experience is the only world that exists and exists and will exist. According to Aristotle, there is only one world. Okay, that's why they are monists. Okay, so according to Aristotle, there is only one world. The world that we see around us, the world that we can experience, that is the only world that existed before, is existing now, and will exist forever. Okay. Changes occur in this very world, and he discusses the kinds and causes of these changes. The change that we see around us, it's not existing in some other world, it exists in this particular same world that we experience. Okay. The central concept of Aristotle metaphysics is substance. According to Aristotle, the substance is the center. Like in Vaisheshika Darshana, Dravya, substance, 7 categories or 7 padartha of Vaisheshika's theory is substance. That means Dravya. Substance, Dravya. Quality, Guna. Action, Karma. Generality, Samanya. Particularity, Vishesha, the relation of inherence. Samavaya, non-existent being. Abhava. So Aristotle was also a follower, like he also believed in categories like Vaisheshika. Okay, Aristotle also believed in substance, quality, quantity, relation, place, time, position, possession, activity, and being acted upon. Substance means dravya, quality means guna, quantity means if there is one or two or three, that is quantity. Relation means relation between two objects. Okay, place where that object exists, the time when that object existed, the position of the object, then the possession, who is handling the object. Okay, then the activity, if that object is sitting there, like it is, if that object is still or is it moving, so the activity of the object, and being acted upon, who is moving the object. Okay, all these things Aristotle believed in, all these like substance, quality, quantity, relation, place, time, position, possession, activity, and being acted upon. Okay, so like Vaisheshika, he also believes that substance is the most important category of all. If substance does not exist, all these categories won't exist. Means that if an object doesn't exist, these categories won't exist. So Vaisheshika and Aristotle both have the same views, that without substance there will be no existence of any of these characteristics. Okay.